Hey guys, Deathslayer Magic here, and it is finally time for the most overdue video on my entire channel. I have been wanting to make this forever, but I kept forgetting or being too busy or whatever. You guys know that I love a good running gag, especially on my channel. There are so many recurring, channel memes. Oh my god, I can't even name them all. You know, that one particular smiley face that I added into just about everything, just about every dang thumbnail. Well, except lately because I've been busy giving silly nicknames to everybody who's ever been in my videos. Of course, the way I open and close my videos, there's that. Randomly and needlessly throwing guns into my videos or using them in my videos. I mean, there's probably 10 more things that I've made, a long time running gag on my channel, but one of the more subtle straight-faced ones was when I decided, because me and my friends filming this thought it was just hilarious, when we were opening Modern Masters 3, instead of signet, as in signature, goes back to Old English or whatever, which, a signet was it was usually on a ring, and it was like a symbol, and you'd stamp it in to prove that it was from the king or whatever. I'm very familiar with the term and the word, but I thought, it'd be really funny because people lose their damn minds when you mispronounce something on YouTube. I'm going to purposely mispronounce it as Signet. So the whole time, super straight face, I'm like, oh look, it's another Demeter Signet. Not only did I get comments about it, I got emails about it, I got tweets about it, I got DMs about it. People were like, you need to fix this. He said a word wrong, he needs to know. And then, of course, later, because I was going to let the joke blow over because I thought most people would be smart enough to realize that I'm joking on purpose because I do stuff like that all the time. Just really subtle trolley kind of stuff, nothing too mean, not who's that douchebag? It's really early and I haven't had any caffeine. Oh yeah, Travis Smooth, the guy from the Harness Lightning artwork. Yeah, he trolls people by giving them bad advice because he thinks it's funny. Kind of stems from him being an elitist douchebag. By the way, I really like the celebrity cameos on the cards lately. Have you seen the Nicolas Cage on Borrowed Hostility? I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, that joke went over pretty well, I guess you could say. It was a raging success, except that nobody realized immediately it was a joke. But you may have noticed another subtle little thing. Ever since the release of Kaladesh, when they made I'm going to spoil it, but basically the word ayther, is it ayther or ether? Short answer, it's ether. The way they intended it to be pronounced and the more correct way in English is ether. It's some stupid old school Latin spelling or Greek or I don't know. It's some stupid thing that nobody even uses anyway, but it is ether. So why do I purposely say aether when I'm very familiar with the term ether? In fact, it's, assuming they're referring to the same thing, a scientific theory that was kind of like the old school version of dark matter where everybody knows it doesn't exist and it's an idiotic theory. There's no evidence of it and people just made it up so that they can get grant money to study nothing and don't lose their jobs. But people thought that that's what empty space was made out of. There was this sub-layer called ether. And they thought it could be manipulated, it was responsible for gravity and all this other stuff. No, it turns out it's just bent space. There is nothing called the ether. You can't interact with it. It doesn't exist. So assuming that they were going for the exact same word now, which that's debatable, they went with not the same spelling because even back in the day, it was with just an E. Actually, come to think of it, I looked it up. They would spell it either way, either E-T-H-E-R or A-E combined into that stupid backwards letter. And then T-H-E-R, of course. And then if, your computer didn't support that character, you didn't know how to type it, people would just lazily put capital A and then lowercase e, T-H-E-R. This is English. That's not a letter in English. Why use it? So I hate stupid symbols like that. I pretty much hate anything that's not English that people constantly use in English because it's extremely disruptive to typing on a computer. I couldn't tell you how to type the letter U with an umlaut over it. You know why? Because I'm not freaking German. I mean, I'm literally half German, but I don't speak German. Nor do I type German, but guess what? A bunch of stupid douchebags decided to include the word Uber in the English language. Oh, and also make it a company. So what did lazy people do? They just dropped the umlaut and said, screw it. I'm not actually sure if the word Uber had an umlaut over the U, but you get the example anyway. I think it did. But anyway, if you're going to borrow a word from another language, basically at this point, it's just a given that you're just going to drop all kinds of I don't know, what would you call it? I think it's called ligature. I don't know, whatever it is, I mean, I just call it punctuation, honestly. And I mean, the last time you typed the word resume, did you put the accent mark on the E at the end? Do you even at this point know that there's an accent mark on the E at the end? Does anybody care? I mean, you're basically just typing the word resume, but nobody cares. They're not going to not hire you because you didn't put an accent mark on the E. You know why? Because there's no accent marks in English. We don't have those. Those are like primarily Spanish. So Wizards decided to, for various reasons, I can't find the exact post. I found Mark Rosewater's comment about it. They decided to drop the combination AE capital letter thing. I'm sure there's a name for whatever that letter symbol character thing is, but it's not technically a letter, so I should probably stop calling it that. It's an abomination is what it is. So while I do support them dropping it, I don't support the actual reason. So I don't recall if they specifically stated a reason or if it was just a rumor on the internet. I could have sworn I heard them comment about this. Either way, I know why they did it. I know the actual reason. I am very confident about this. So somebody on Mark Rosewater's blog posted, hey, I noticed the new Aether Revolts set. They dropped the AE combo letter thingy. What's going on there? And Mark Rosewater is like, hey, I'm proud to say that I had a huge hand in killing it. The change is retroactive actually into the Oracle text too, so they go back and change like Aetherling. But you know, they'll just be capital A, lowercase e, and that's it. Oh, so they did it for simplicity and for, you know, to help everybody in readability and pronunciation. Not really. Okay, conspiracy theory number 1. I don't believe that since they have changed the font on the cards, which was very, very recent. I don't remember exactly when, but it was very recent. I feel like it was BFZ, but I don't know. I think the new font was incapable of typing that letter. I think it wasn't included in the font. So even if they wanted to, they wouldn't be able to type it on the card because the actual character itself didn't exist in the new font. Now keep in mind, I do believe that they hired somebody to design the font themselves. It was not a publicly available font. They said they did it for counterfeiting reasons. So why would they take an off-the-shelf font when somebody could just use a font matching thing and find out what the font is and go download it? So I do believe that they had somebody tweak or designed a custom font for just them. And obviously they included, you know, German and French and all that stuff. But an AE combination character, who would think to put that in there? You know, why would you do more work than you need to? So that's conspiracy theory number 1, that they just couldn't type the letter because they forgot to put it into the new font. Conspiracy theory number 2, they were, and I think they confirmed this, by the way, they were really, really, really sick of having to, like, correct and duplicate things in every single card searching program. Both ones that they use internally, other people's websites, they complained about it. The Gatherer website. Like if you type in Aetherling and you don't know how to type the little AE combo thing and you just type in AETHERLING, it will actually find the card. Now, was that always true before the change? I'm not sure because nobody knows precisely when this change happened. I feel like it was because I think I've actually looked up the card Aetherling far before the release of even like you know, Khans of Tarkir. So I'm pretty sure they had like a duplicate thing where they would put it in one way, like it was the value versus the display name kind of, you know, and it's really complicated to do something like that program wise. Some software suites will do it automatically. They'll take something with an umlaut or an accent mark and replace it with the English version in the English version of your website and your database. But I feel like they probably had to code that themselves. So then every card has a display name versus a name value, and you have to compare it to the correct field. You have to make sure all your programmers know exactly why it has 2 names. It's just a nightmare. And then everybody else has to do it. Like, you know, all those other indexing sites and anybody who sells cards. And then on eBay, people had to do it, which I think eBay has an automatic corrector as well. So it's kind of a pain for everybody. But now the other thing is not every database suite supports characters like that. Some of them are very, very limited in what you can type in. And then you've got all the like name comparison. Do you want to spread it out to full Unicode or characters outside Unicode? And it just turns into a catastrophe. So instead of like everybody fixing their system, they just took the easy shortcut and just changed the name and got rid of it. Well, as a programmer who specializes in text manipulation and databases, take a guess with my personality if I want it done correctly or the stupid easy shortcut way. Yeah, I want it done the right way. I like everything to be absolutely perfectly flawless. No stupid shortcuts. So just as like a joke / a little miniature protest of them getting rid of the symbol instead of continuing to just handle the very slight technical, issues with it. I mean, they chose that stupid like Greek symbol or whatever in the first place. If you're going to go with something, go with it. You made the mistake, stick with it. They never should have included a non-English character on a card, and I feel like it's probably not even the first one they've done. Well, obviously they print the cards in other languages as well, but still. So it was just such a easy way out shortcut / giving up to change it to the letter A and the letter E. So here's the thing. The letter A and E have a very particular sound in English. They have a default pronunciation, and it's A. So the word aether is in English pronounced aether. I know that they mean ether, but they wrote aether. Why did they write aether? Because they're lazy and can't get their technical stuff up to snuff, basically. Thus, my continued purposeful pronunciation of aether. Hey, I'm just going to read the card as they wrote it. If they want to be lazy and basically type the word wrong, then I'm going to pronounce it wrong. And I know I sound like a petty, stubborn person. I'm not taking this very seriously. It was all just like a joke. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to purposely pronounce it wrong because they should have kept it original and I'm such a perfectionist, blah, blah, blah. No, I could care less how they spell it. It probably was easier on everybody in the world for them to just change it. Like, I kind of agree with the thing, but just as a joke because, they took the incredibly lazy, easy way out, I'm going to continue to pronounce it aether. I mean, they wrote it, I pronounce it as written. If you think about it, that, it makes sense logically. Oh, also, there's one more thing. Whenever people at FNM ask me, why do you say it aether? It's ether. The way that they're using it in the lore has absolutely nothing to do with the ether in science, I guess, fiction. Used to be science fact almost. It was just, disproven. It has nothing to do with like space or the vacuum or the material that's supposed to fill the whole universe and whatever. That's not how they're using it. So technically, one, they're spelling it differently, and two, it's a completely different thing. So like I said, well, if they're going to make up a thing and spell it that way, I'm going to pronounce it exactly as it's spelled because it's not the ether. It's just coincidentally the same word, even though I know better than that. So if you're going to rip off something from science history that's proven wrong, do it correctly and spell it correctly. So yes, finally, fully explained. This is the reason that I keep saying aether, and I would encourage everybody to do the same just because it's kind of a joke and a running gag at this point. So yes, guys, we got to keep the joke going and keep the meme going, and I'm sure everybody at Wizards, every time they hear somebody on like a major platform or during the live stream or something say aether, instead of ether, they slap themselves in the face because they're like, oh man, whoops. We probably should have left it with the AE combination character because then people would know to say ether because that's how you pronounce that. Okay, not really. There's no way they're actually thinking that or regretting it. But you guys know I like to give Wizards a hard time, so, might as well keep the meme going. So that is the full explanation of it. I've gotten so many questions about it. I'm sure people will ignore this video and continue to ask the questions, but whatever. I'll see you guys next video.